Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of the KickABall podcast. I'm your host for today, Danny Lang, and today we have a very special guest, Nestor Cabrera of Rutgers University men's soccer. How you doing today, my friend?
I'm doing great. Thank you for having me on the podcast, and I'm glad to be here.
Likewise, too. I mean, I know we're getting you after a long day of work too. We're talking about the two-a-days, the preseason grind that you guys are on. I mean, tell me a little bit about what Rutgers has you and the rest of these guys doing, like, before this build up into 2025.
Yeah, it's been a grind. These 2 days have been tough, but it's what we need to get ready for the season.
Sure.
Yeah, we start up like very early morning, like around 7 o'clock. We are in the usually getting ready for training, like doing treatment and stuff. And yeah, we get training. Our first training sessions around like 9, probably most days. It varies day to day, but it's mostly like around 9. And we usually do a little bit of gym work before training, and then we hop into training. Usually, the morning training is usually the more intense one,
Okay.
and then after the training, we can do our recovery stuff, and probably our next training is later in the afternoon around like 4, and we usually train at 4, hard training, and then
Right.
after training, recovery stuff, and then we do it all again the next day.
Yeah, huge. I mean, the recovery, and I hear a lot of this more now as I've become more aware of just a lot of the off the field and a lot of off the pitch work that you guys do. But that recovery really just might as well be another training session because you've got to go about doing your recovery in the right way. How do you make sure, how did you first learn about recovery at a high level, but also figuring out what's best for your own body?
It was like through experiences because, of course, when I was my younger self, I didn't really focus on recovery. I just pick
Right.
the ball, train, and then just go home. Like take off my
Mm.
shoes and just go home and sleep.
Yeah.
But through the years, especially getting older, your body starts getting a little cranky sometimes.
Mhm.
So you really got to take care of the little knocks, little bruises you have, if any tightness, like just get that sorted out. And it's very, very crucial if you want to perform at a high level because the best weapon you can have as a player is being available. Because if you're not available, you can't play.
Right. And you can't even use if it's the 90 or the 85% when you're just not available.
Exactly.
It's a huge piece of
Yeah,
that. Um,
exactly.
yeah, I mean, and I guess just talking broadly about the Rutgers program too, going into, this upcoming fall. I mean, it's been exciting for me because now I get to see some of the younger guys. Like when I first started doing this work, when I first started doing the interviews, like I remember doing this as a freshman. You're a year older than me as a sophomore when I first started doing it. Now going into
Mhm.
that senior season, huge for what the professional career, the professional opportunities will look like for you. But having been a part of Rutgers for this real amount of time, or at the very least, like just being around the college game, how do you think you've been able to grow? We'll talk about it a little more like specifically at the end of, not the end, but a little later on in the interview. But
Yeah.
if you could give us some broad strokes and some broad statements, what does it look like for you?
But yeah, I'm very grateful for the Rutgers program. They have very like I developed so well there. Like when I first got there as a freshman, I didn't really go to the gym as much. I was not a big gym rat. Like I didn't really take care of the physical aspect of my game. But then once I got to Rutgers, they gave me a platform to like really develop develop myself like as a player. They gave me all the tools, like the perfect gym, the perfect pitches, video analysis. So they really helped me like make my game so much better. Little by little, like every year, I feel like I've gotten better and better. If it's not physically, it's tactically, or just like fitness wise. Like every year, I feel like I have improved in some aspect of my game, and that's like thanks to the coaches and also to myself for all the hard work because the coaches can only do so much and the player has to do the rest. So thanks to them, but also I give a pat on my back on myself.
And you should. I mean, it's been something that it's not something that you can do just from the help of other people. You've got to be fully bought into your own career, your development every day. Yeah, it's absolutely something worth congratulating yourself with how far you've been able to come. But I know there's still a lot that you're looking to do this fall, and of course, what's sure to be after college for you.
Yeah, for sure, for
Yeah.
sure.
And I mean, we talk a lot about the stat, and I've told you a little bit about the conversations that I've had with the director of operations, AJVS, what he, how he told me, just to reach out to you that you would be a great conversation to have for this kind of thing. And I mean, I see why, talking up about how much that the Rutgers program has really been able to help you in terms of facilitating
Hmm.
development, getting better as a player, it's huge. And
For sure.
I mean, Rutgers is certainly a program that has created that top talent as well. Like, I mean, you look at
Hmm.
Kirkalla, Joey Zielinski, both playing in the respective MLS systems with Minnesota and St. Louis. Um, when you look at those kinds of guys, they've both been able to make that jump to play professionally. And, we talk about that being something that's on every young player's mind, but you've still got to
Hmm.
focus on what's every one day ahead. You can't get to that kind of level
Hmm.
without putting your 100% in tomorrow and the day after that.
Yeah, for
How
sure.
do you keep yourself focused during this time just so huge in really just your advancement of the career?
Just keeping it consistent every day, trying to do 1% better than the next or the day before. I always want to do 1% better, even if it's doing an extra minute of finishing or doing extra things outside of the field, like say like the treatment and stuff like that. I always want to do something a little bit better every day, and that consistency comes from like the motivation of become a professional and make it far in soccer.
Yeah.
Like that motivation comes from like my family supporting me.
Mhm.
It's like every day I just want to get better and become a better soccer player and a better person every day.
Absolutely. I mean, there's I feel like there was no better way really to be able to put that. And just staying consistency is such a huge thing, and it goes back to the health aspect, getting better as a player, but also the person that you become, spending that time in college, you get to the end of that. I think that's really well said.
Mm. Thank you.
So I also want to ask a little bit about, before this preseason comes in, obviously you've got the finishing up the winter term. Well, I mean, I guess in terms of semesters, the fall season runs right into the end of finals, but you've got winter break, you've got the spring season, you've got the summer. What has the off season? I use that in quotes because there's never really an off season for you guys. You're always working. Yeah, like you're saying, it's a
Yeah.
consistency. But what has the spring and the summer look like for you going into this fall season?
Yeah, that's actually one of my favorite periods because I feel like that period of time is we can really like focus on your craft and what you need to improve on because not only you're training with the team, but there's so much time that you can do individual work because there's not as much games.
Mhm.
So I feel like that's like the time where, as a player, you can really develop yourself and what you need to improve on because the coaches are there for you, the facilities are there, and there's not that many games, so you can train hard and train even harder off the pitch and on the pitch, like on your own. So that's like I feel like for me, one of the best moments as a player, and like the off season, you can say.
Yeah, huge. Um, and this goes back to the theme of the consistency and experimenting and doing that individual work. Because, like you're saying, I mean, when you're in that middle of that fall season, there's not a whole hell of a lot of time to be able to experiment and figure out what you
Yeah,
can do, this and that. And I mean, there's a reason for it. You guys got to win. It's go time for the
yeah.
season, which is nice because you're able to get that film in front of those professional teams and I really
Hmm.
just figuring out what's going to be best for the Rutgers team moving forward. But you always there's always those little things that you can look and figure out. I mean, if you can cue us in a little bit on maybe one skill that you think you've been able really to develop during your time in college, if there is one. Again, I'm trying to walk this line. Um, Closely without like going so far into like the nitty gritty of all that stuff. Like
Yeah.
you can't tell. But if there's one thing that you think you've been able to improve on, maybe this off season, what do you think it would be?
I'll say probably being able to play multiple positions.
Hmm.
I used to always be a midfielder, but like now playing different other positions, like I could play now right back. I can play anywhere in the middle. Basically, most positions. I also feel like fitness wise, because we used to do a fitness test at Rutgers,
Uh-huh.
and it's always been a struggle for me. Like no matter how much I trained it, but now I got it down,
Nice.
and I did really well on the fitness test now. So like I
So,
got that down as well, and that was one of the main things that I felt like this off season I really did well on.
Huge. Perfect. Yeah. I'll always, it's those tests, because I'll even see, I mean, I've been around a couple of the USL2 environments, I'll say specifically. And I remember two Akron boys, Jack Roman and Mac Reeves, who would train, during the times before and between the practices. And it would just be those constant sprints up and down the pitch and just making sure they were ready, like being able to prepare for that fitness test. So I've been able to see how important that there really is, like for the team, and just again being ready, physically fit to be able to get right into these trainings. They're really like the thick of where you guys are at right now.
Hmm. Oh
So
yeah,
I mean, I guess the other thing that I want to, shift the focus on would be, we've gotten to know a little bit of what the last few months have looked like for Nestor Cabrera.
yeah.
But I'm also curious, and I know a lot of people who are going to be watching this are curious to hear just your upbringing in soccer. And, I want to leave you the time to talk about it now. I mean, however long or short the story is, I want to let you know I'm here for all of it. Everything that you're willing and able to tell, you got me as a captive audience, as an active listener. But yeah, where does your soccer journey start, my friend?
So it started when I was 4. I joined my first rec team called Bridgewater Soccer Association,
Mm,
and I grew up with a soccer family. So
very
ever
nice.
since I was a little kid, I was just playing soccer with the family in the backyard for hours. And then from my rec team, I moved to my club team called Bridgewater uh, Soccer Association, BSA.
Mm,
So I played there for like a good 7 years until I was like 12 years old. And then after that, I went to train with Philly for like 8 months, Philadelphia Union Academy. I was there for like 8 months, and it was just such a long drive to go there, back, there, back. It was like 2 hours and 30 minutes there, and then 2 hours, 30 minutes back home. I used to do that like at least 5 times a week, 4 times a week, doing like my homework in the car. It was such a big like commitment for me and my parents because they had to drive me there. Like they get home from work, I had to leave school early, and they drove me to practice almost every day, and that was like a really big commitment and a sacrifice for the whole family, really. And it was hard. And then we decided to move somewhere more local that still played in the DA. So like the development academy is no longer here. It's like the MLS Next now.
right.
But so I moved to PDA, Players Development Academy, and from there I joined, I think, U13, and I was there for like a good 5 years. It was nice. PDA was the best, really. It was a great way to develop. All the directors there, PDA really did the things right. It was a great organization, great program, and it was fun. It was really fun. I felt like I really developed as a player there. It was they PDA always has great players coming up the rankings every year. They
Yeah.
always have great college players, and it's just a great program. And then from there, Red Bulls scouted me from playing at PDA, and then I took the jump to Red Bulls, and I went there for a year, and then COVID hit, and
Mm,
that kind of slowed everything down. So I was there during COVID, and it was hard because it was like we trained, but not as much. It was kind of
totally.
difficult. And then after that, I was there for like a good year and a half, and then from there, they didn't have a U19 team. So
Mm,
I actually joined a team named Queensboro because Rebels didn't have a U19 team, so I had to find a team. So I joined Queensboro, which is no longer a club. And
yeah.
then I went to Queensboro. Was there for like a good year, just training with them. And that's when I actually got called out to the U-20 national team of Guatemala from playing at Queensboro. I was doing really well there, so Guatemala called me up for the like that was like the second time. The first time was when I actually joined Red Bulls with the U17. I went to play with Guatemala for the first time, and then when I went to Queensboro, they brought me up again.
Huge, huge.
Yeah, that was great. It was a great opportunity for me, and it was nice because like I was able to see my family's culture in Guatemala, like how they lived life. It definitely taught me a lot. Going to Guatemala, it definitely taught me a different lifestyle, and it was great. It was a great experience. And eventually from there, I went to the World Cup with the under 20s of Guatemala, and that was one of the best experiences of my life. We qualified to the World Cup, We beat Mexico in penalties, and that was one of the most nervous I was, but one of the most happiest moments of my life. It was definitely winning that game and then qualifying to the World Cup. And then yeah, after that we played Dominican. We lost in penalties, but that we don't really need to talk about that game.
Yeah,
But
yeah, yeah.
but after that we went back to Guatemala. It was like a big parade, a big ceremony for us there. It was like one of the best moments. Then after that we came back, and then from there I went straight to Rutgers
Mm.
from the World Cup because I ended with Queensboro. I left Queensboro to go to the World Cup qualifiers with Guatemala, and then from the World Cup qualifiers from Guatemala straight to Rutgers.
Wow.
And then I was there, did my freshman year at Rutgers, and ever since I've been at Rutgers. That was basically my career. Then I played the World Cup. I played the World Cup my sophomore year at Rutgers, the under 20 in Argentina.
Got it. Interesting. Okay, yeah. So it's definitely been a journey that's taken you a lot of different places, but
Yeah,
thankful that we get to talk now. I mean, I think is the best like statement that I could give, at least like looking back on all that. But if you don't mind, that there's like a few instances I want to talk about. Like one
yeah,
of
of
these
course.
being like that transition with Philly, like that being such a huge um I don't want to say burden, but a huge commitment for you and your family to be able to go in and be able to work out. This was something that you did for 8 months, you said?
Yeah, 8 months. It was a 8 month commitment that we were doing, and we just told Philly that we're just gonna stay more local because it was just way too much of a drive. Like it was basically like 4 hours every day of driving. It was
Yeah.
really far, and then we just couldn't do it because they didn't have the housing at the time when I was there,
Mhm.
so they couldn't give housing. And I was like, all right, is me and my parents came to like a final decision saying we're gonna just stay local for now and see where it goes from there.
Yeah, and I think it may have opened a lot of other opportunities for you, of course, with PDA and obviously the Red Bulls, Queensboro with all of that. I mean, PDA even too. I mean, I think PDA's got to be one of the best academies, not only in Jersey, but it's got to be one of the best in terms of just producing college talent on the East Coast, in
Mhm.
the nation, what have you. It just has to be one of the best. I mean, some of the guys that I've been able to talk to Jason Baruggi, Kenny Hott, Kirk Kalloff, who I mentioned before, like, and I'm sure I'm even missing dozens of other guys that I've had conversations with. But the PDA Academy, what's different about that kind of organization and those people that are in that coaching group to produce such high level talent?
I feel like the coaches at PDA are like they really do care about the players. They have like a good connection with the players. They really focus on development more than winning. Like, yeah, winning's a big part,
Sure.
but they like winning the right way. They like playing the right way. They like um they like developing players. They're not just there to win games. They're there to develop players for the future. And you can see that through like the age groups, like the U12 to U19. They play somewhat similar style of play, and that's implemented from a young age all the way to like the U19 team that they have. They all play very similar, and the development of the players is the most important part at PDA, I feel. And that's why they develop so many good players because it's not all about winning sometimes, it's about developing the players for the future. That's why I think it's so successful.
Thing. Like I gotta imagine that your precision on a long ball where you're able to flip a wing for Rutgers isn't something that was just that you were born with. Whether it was, I mean, that's fantastic because that's explain the national team call-ups, but you've got to be able to fine tune and develop that skill at every one of those kinds of environments, and
Mm-hmm.
certainly evident in that regard.
Yeah, for sure.
And then even the Red Bulls opportunity too, that it's another one of those areas. I mean, there's a lot of overlap between some of the
Mm-hmm.
PDA guys, Red Bulls experience,
Yeah.
them even having a bit of a stint in USL Championship during a point.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I know Eric Ruiz, one of your midfielder teammates, he had a lot of
Yeah.
time at least in championship.
Yeah.
Um,
Eric's my guy.
oh, huge. So I'll tell you, I've gotten to meet him a couple times. He plays for Motown, the USL two
Yeah. Yeah. We
team in
played in
Warsaw.
Motown together. Yeah. It
Get
was going.
out.
Yeah.
Yeah. Great dude. I can't get enough of him. I think he's a fantastic player. So
Yeah, he's the best.
I'll ask you too, like what have your relations been like with him on the pitch, but also just like how you've gotten to know him to this point?
So I first met him at Red Bulls. We met there. We
Okay.
were not as good as friends at Red Bulls, like because
Oh,
he was one age group below me, so we were like not in the
okay.
same team. So like we knew of each other, but we never really talked as much. But then
Sure.
when he got to Rutgers, that's when we became like really good friends. That's when our bond became like
So
greater. So yeah, we're like good friends now, and on the pitch, we're great friends. Off the pitch, we're even better friends.
very nice. Because he's one of those dudes that, I see him as defensive midfielder, as just someone who can
Yeah, yeah,
like, anchor a lot, which is like be
for
like
sure.
that dude who's commanding. And you're someone that's able to just accelerate, like as an eight,
Mhm.
as someone who could like go up into an
Yeah.
attack, like, and that's obviously a great dynamic for you guys to have not only
hmm
to have had experience just knowing each other, but that off the field relationship is always huge.
Yeah, for sure. It definitely is. The chemistry off the field is just as important on the field as well.
Yeah, absolutely. And then even the Greensboro experience, so too. I know it was a lot of external factors cut it short, and that
hmm
was something that I was so excited to see as someone like
Yeah,
who
me
around
too.
the game that area. But getting aside from that though too, like a lot of talent flowed in through there as well. Like
hmm
from your time that you got to enjoy Queensboro, what like it being a U19 group, of course, was huge for you. But also getting that experience against older guys who maybe were making that jump into college or
hmm
guys who were looking for another academy, like to maybe make a jump between Queensboro, like let's say it was the Rebels 2 team or it's NYCFC or another organization. Like what was that dynamic like between all those different personalities?
It was good. I learned something from every team that I went to. Like every team
Interesting.
taught me something specific, and I still hold on to those things that I learned to this day,
Right.
and I'm still learning. Even now, I'm still learning. Uh, that's the beauty of soccer. Everywhere you go, you're gonna learn something new.
Yeah.
No matter where you go, no matter what level it is, you're gonna learn something new. And going through all those teams, I definitely learned many things. Different coaches all have different perspectives of the game, and they make you see it in a different perspective as well.
Mhm.
Every like different style plays, such like that. But Queensboro was great. Queensboro was it was a great organization, great program, and it's sad that it didn't go through all the way. But yeah, it was great. I couldn't. I'm so thankful for them. It was a great time, the great year I spent there, and yeah, I'm grateful for that organization for sure.
Yeah, and it comes down to you just getting you can't control what happens off the pitch for some of these clubs.
Yeah.
It's just getting everything that you can out of these kinds of organizations, learning like you can, which sounds like you definitely did, and
hmm
just continuing to develop and get better. Mhm. So I've got to ask though too, like when you started getting these call-ups for the Guatemalan national team, U17, U20 being around those environments already. I guess before you even started reporting with some of these teams, how did they come to find you? I mean, did you have the experience in Guatemala? Did you talk to some of these scouts? What did that look like?
So the funny thing is, there was actually when I was 12 years old, there was like a little camp that the national team of Guatemala, the U17, came to. Like he came to New York. He sent out like I don't know how my dad got the email, but I think he got an email saying that there's U17 Guatemalan coach is hosting like a training camp for Guatemalan players. And I was like 12 years old. It was for U17, but I still went to it. I was a pretty big 12-year-old, so I still went to it.
Yeah.
And the coach saw me there playing in that camp, and he really liked me, so he invited me to come play, but I was too young. So then
Mhm.
we waited like a couple years, and then that's when I went with the U17. That's where all started. That's where I got into the system. So basically, it's like they say, you just never know when the opportunity is gonna come. You just gotta be ready for it when it does come.
100%. Yeah. Isn't that the truth, bro? Like, and I mean, you being 12 years old, thinking about this even back then, like I can imagine where a 13, 14-year-old kid's mind goes,
Yeah.
where he's literally representing his ethnic national team. Like that's something that's so huge.
Yeah.
Like what's your connection to Guatemala, if you don't mind me asking? Is it both parents? Is it one? Or like how ingrained are you
Yeah,
in
both. Yeah, both my parents are Guatemalan. Basically, my whole family is Guatemalan except for like some of my cousins and I, my brothers and sister. We're all like we're born here in the United States, but from like my uncles, aunts, dad and mom, they're all Guatemalan. So I'm pretty much like fully Guatemalan, but I was born
yeah.
here in the United States.
Oh yeah, everyone says their ethnicity anyway here too. Like if you ask
Yeah,
me, it's like oh Irish, Italian, whatever. Meanwhile, if I go abroad and I say I'm Irish, they're like you're
you
American
sure about
and get
that?
everything. So, but yeah, I won't hold it against you. Um,
Yeah.
but yeah, like, and then even getting those call ups, going into those trainings, like, how do you get around this sense of pride that obviously can overcome you at certain points? Like being able to thinking about this in, with each individual experience, knowing that you're there, but you're also there to do a job and to make sure that you're impressing to be able to continue to make your moves with the 17s, the 20s, maybe the senior team one day. Um, how do you grapple with that emotion and the pride of the national team when you first are starting?
No, yeah. At first, it was, like always, is such an honor to represent the country of Guatemala, like the country of where my parents grew up. The country that I love is always an honor to represent the Guatemala. And yeah, it's a lot of emotions go through my mind when every single time I put the jersey on.
Yeah.
Every time I step on the field, it's just like the sensation that you get singing the national anthem. It's just a beautiful thing that it's hard to explain, but like
Mhm.
just living every moment, knowing that you're representing a whole country, the whole country's watching. Like what, especially when I made my debut with the senior team, like that was one of the greatest moments as well.
Yeah.
Like that emotion that you get singing a national anthem in front of thousands of fans, like
Mhm.
it's the best, one of the best feelings in the world for sure. Like especially when your parents are there watching as well. You know that they're proud, and I
Yeah.
just get emotional every single time I sing the national anthem. It's just amazing.
Yeah, no, it's something that's beautiful and it's something that not every player, professional, semi-pro, at whatever level that you're at, may never get that kind of experience. And not
Mhm.
to make this relative to anyone else to anyone else who's playing soccer or whatever else, but that is something that is just so fantastic, admirable. And again, it speaks to your work ethic, speaks to your talent,
Mhm.
hard work that you've been able to put in. Because again, this doesn't happen without you. And
Mhm.
it obviously helps with the combination of the support that you've been able to get, but it's also something that you have to work toward every day, whether you know it or not, whether you knew at 15 years old you'd be able to get those minutes with the senior team. And there's no other way to go but to continue to rise.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, it's just a blessing to be able to have those experiences for sure, and yeah, it's just an amazing memories.
Huge. So, how do you continue to find the ambition to want to achieve more? And I guess what I mean by that is just to continue to put everything in every day. I mean, I think people would look back at a lot of the stuff you've been able to do and to say you've batted 1,000 in your life so far. But what keeps you going? What's going to get you to wake up tomorrow and to get yourself to continue to be consistent, to keep stacking those days and putting 100% in?
No, yeah, I just want to see how far I can go, how good I can get, and I just want to be the best version of myself that I can be, and that God will allow me to be. And yeah, I'm grateful for every time I'm able to step on the pitch because as a person, you never really know when it's going to be your last.
Sure.
So I enjoy every moment. I do it for my family. I do it for myself, and because they put a lot of time and sacrifice, just like how I do. So all thanks to my parents, my brothers, they're always there to support me. So I do it for them, but I also do it for myself. And yeah, anytime I'm able to step on the pitch, it's a blessing from the Lord and Savior Himself. And yeah, every single time I just get motivated more and more because I know that my body can give me more and more. And then yeah, that's why that keeps me motivated every day.
Huge, bro. I mean, and that's it's just going to continue to allow yourself to be able to be open to finding weakness or to be open to finding criticism and fueling that, respinning that as just knowing that it's something that you continue to get better at. Yet in whatever it ends up being, in whatever facet of life, there's nothing that comes to mind in particular because I've been able to watch a good bit of your film. There's not, you do a lot of things right. You do a lot right. Um,
Like,
and I say that not to speak broadly, but I'll go a little further deeper. I talk about your savviness on defense, but also your composure on ball. And
hmm
that's another interesting dynamic when you take in two separate situations and knowing that you've got time in the proper situations that you do. And that'll
hmm
be maybe you're on a wing. And this I think is also where it comes in of like, okay, like I see like a bit of this outside back that you're talking about, this
hmm
rush.
Yeah,
You'll be able to take a touch in space on the right wing and be able to make a move, a little bit back inside and back into traffic. And that's not something that you do shy away from. Um,
yeah.
there's a little bit of like there's a fine line between the savviness and the smart plays that you need to make. How do you
Mhm.
judge sometimes in these lightning quick moments, what's the best thing that you need to be able to do in the moments that are coming up?
It's mostly like um, whatever the game tells me to do. So if like say they're high pressing, I'm not going to take many touches to get pressed even more. I'll try to play it one or two touches to beat the press. Most of the time, I like to keep it simple, but say when I enter the final third, that's when I try to do more touches on the ball, try to take on players, try to create something. But mostly when I win it, I try to keep it simple, play one or two touches, and usually most of the time it works. And
Right.
yeah, anytime I can do a little flick here or there to look like a little savvy, I'll do it. But most of the time, I like to keep it simple. And during the final third it is when I try to do a little bit more creativity,
Mhm.
but most of the time it's just more simple and playing for the team.
And you know what? This midfield of Rutgers allows you to be able to keep like those one or two touches. I
Yeah.
was even thinking savvy of like, maybe I should have used this as a different example. I agree with you on that third half, but I think the awareness was maybe a better word that I should have came up with.
hmm
So that's on me. It was a good thought that you brought out though. So like on your own, like you know yourself best.
Yeah.
But like it's that even that awareness to know, okay, keeping these things simple and taking these little one or two things.
Mhm.
I mean, you'll take a ball from Eric and you'll be able to find some, exactly like I'm saying,
Yeah.
creating those opportunities. But yeah, I think this midfield definitely allows you to be able to like to keep it simple and to just commit to what you guys know and what is the best. It's very interesting.
Yeah, for sure. For sure.
And I mean, I think the only other things that I really want to make sure that I do touch on too is like what this fall season you think ends up shaping out to be. I mean, the Big Ten, it's never been something that people have counted any team out in the Big Ten. There's any one of you guys that can go on that run 5, 6, 7 games toward the end of the season and go take that championship. And
hmm
there are other teams that have had the historic perspective, like a UCLA, like an Indiana that have done those kinds of things. But what do you think is within this Scarlet Knights locker room that really puts in perspective, wow, this is the kind of team that really can achieve a lot this fall?
Yeah, anything's possible. This the team is looking great. Preseason has been really good so far. We've been putting a lot of work in, so the sky's the limit. To be honest, the quality of the team is very high, and we
Mhm.
have potential to do great things this season. I don't put it past us to win titles. I know we're going to win titles this year. I'm very confident about it. And yeah, I'm very excited. I have a feeling this year's going to be a great year, a special year.
And I mean, look, I'm always been a media guy, and so it's encouraging. Well, I'll take a step back here, but it's really encouraging for the supporters of Rutgers to be able to hear this from, I mean, really one of their star midfielders. Not that there's really any point in this, not that there's really any hole in this roster. I mean, you look
Mhm.
up and down, and this is it's a
Yeah, it's a
pretty
great roster.
well-looking machine if you know what you're looking at. Uh,
Yeah.
but I switched that to say, I think you guys have gone off to a pretty good start to 2025 too. I saw some new shirt releases. Look, I mean, I'm a media guy. I love the stuff that goes out. I love teams that embrace the culture, and whatever they could put out. I mean, when did you, if you're allowed to say this, what was your first look at some of these shirts? Your first reactions? Did it look good? Does the team like them? What do you think? And
Nah,
from
they love them. They love them. Everyone loves Nike. Nike is yeah, many people love Nike. They love the
no.
brand. I actually never wore Nike boots until now, and I'm enjoying them so
Hmm.
far. They're not too bad. Not too bad
No,
at all.
yeah.
Yeah. I always been an Adidas guy because I used to like always like when I played in the academies of Red Bulls. You're not PDA. I was wearing Adidas, so
Mhm.
yeah, I always been an Adidas guy. But Nike's, I kind of like a Nike now. Nike's really nice.
Interesting. Interesting. No, I know a lot of guys that they love Nike. There's a certain school. I know some dudes, not that I would recommend this for any of the
Yeah.
young kids who are watching this, but they're like, oh, if it's a Nike school, I'll listen a little bit more. If it's an Adidas school, they'll listen as well. But it's like, some of these guys have their preferences with these boots.
Yeah,
Interesting.
they do.
Yeah,
They do. It's
crazy,
funny.
man. Um, yeah, I mean, I guess looking back on what you've been able to do throughout your journey, would there be other things that you would tell younger players that maybe 14, 15 years old? I, yeah, I would say we're in a similar position with you, but I feel like there are very few people that have been, again, national team experience, been able to play at some very high level clubs around the metropolitan area, and then again playing college at a very high level as well. But if you had a 15, 16, 17-year-old kid that was in a similar situation as you, what would be the kind of advice that you give for that kind of midfielder that's looking at you and seeing, wow, this kid has really been able to do a lot over the last 3 years. What do you tell a young kid when he doesn't quite see it 3 years in?
First, I'll tell them to enjoy every moment because looking at back now at the age I am, looking back now, I feel like I could have maybe enjoyed it a little bit more because those
Hmm.
experiences are so memorable that now that you look back on it, you're like, oh, that was a great time. So I'll tell the kids now, be like, enjoy your time, work as hard as you can, and try to be the best version you can because you never know how far you can make it until you actually put 100%. Because if you don't put 100%, you're gonna regret it. Because that's the one of the fears I have. Like if I don't put 100%, I'm always gonna think in the back of my mind I could have maybe done more, and I never like to live with regret ever. So that's why I like to put 110% in everything I do, and that's what I would tell the younger generation to put as much time and effort as you can. Don't have any regrets and enjoy every moment.
Huge. And I guess before we look to close out this interview, there's a few things that you've been able to say a lot, and I think are great messages where it's putting 100% in, being the best version of yourself, and staying consistent. Um,
Hmm.
Were there figures in your life that have instilled these messages in you? Have they been things that you've come across in your playing journey? Because I think they're all very important messages. You just got to fully understand them. And I think sometimes when you say that to I don't mean this to push back on anything that you've said or anything at all, but I think sometimes if I were to say that to a younger kid, it would be lost in them and they'd have to sit with that for a little while. But with those three themes and those three anecdotes that you've been able to say, like who were the first people that told you them? And maybe when did you realize that the consistency, 110% being your best version of yourself would be things that carry you through a playing career, but also through life?
Yeah, actually, my parents installed that into me from a very young age, and no matter what I did, they always wanted me to give 100%, no matter what I did. If it's cutting the grass, they want me to do it perfectly. If it's cleaning the dishes, clean them perfectly. No matter what I do, like if it's like gymnastics, I did for a little bit. They want me to do that 100%. They want me to do like I play the piano a little bit. They want me to be the best version of myself on the piano.
Right.
Anything I do, they want me to give 110%. And they said, don't ever live life with regret because regret is one of the hardest things to live with. And
Wow.
they themselves exemplify that to me because they work hard every day, going to work, coming back, making sure we have food on the table, giving a house above, or like a house to live under. Like they show that to me every day. They exemplify consistency, hard work. I give 110% every day because they do that every day. And I'm always grateful for what they do for me and they made me the person I am today. So that's why those they have a big impact on me for sure.
Nestor, I mean, I appreciate all the insight that you've been able to give me about your playing career, your life, and I mean, it's made me so much more excited about what there is in the future. That's honestly why I love doing these conversations because I get to see this side of the boys like outside of, just the pitch and maybe what I hear from other guys. I mean, I told you AJ and I have talked and he couldn't speak highly enough about you, it seemed. And that really were his exact words. And it made me that much more excited to want to come on. And again, I apologize for not being around last night. Something crazy came up, but
That's all
um,
good.
he kind of just told me that this is a conversation that I had to have, and I mean, it's been really all that I could have hoped for. And it's just made me that much more excited for what's to come with Rutgers, your own personal career. And I mean, you've got a supporter in me, Kickball the rest this way. But I do want to say if there's anything else that you want to put on at the end of this episode, anything else that was on your mind, playing Rutgers, whatever it is, I want to give you the time to bring it up now towards the end of the interview. Otherwise, thank you for joining us. It's been a real treat.
Now, thank you for having me. I really enjoyed the interview and yeah, it's gonna be a very exciting season. And I hope I hope we can bring a title. I'm pretty very confident that we're gonna bring some titles home this year. And yeah, just keep in tune, and you're gonna see the great season we're gonna have.
Absolutely. I think it would be doing a disservice to you guys if I didn't.
Yeah,
All right, Esther. Enjoy the rest of your night. The episode will be out soon, and go Scarlet Knights,
nah, thank you so much. I really appreciate the interview.
of course.